The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, dedicated to creating access to financial well-being for local people, businesses, and communities. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, a wine Thunderdome rooted in the other American continent with Franklin County wine friend Ken Washburn.
And we'll see how the Animal Kingdom is taking over the Shea Theater today and tomorrow for a happening 5 bestiary.
But first, it's Halloween.
And also the 50th anniversary of a film that is honestly one of my absolute favorites.
And in Pittsfield, you can celebrate both of those things at the same time.
In one very queer-forward, all-welcoming location.
I don't know what you're doing on Saturday, November 22nd, but we're going to be right down the street from you doing a little mini march for the Food Bank of Western Mass in Pittsfield, like 2 miles from Hot Plate up and down the street back to Hot Plate for a little event. But I invite you and the Wander community to come if you'd want.
Oh, wow.
And we raise money for the food bank, which covers all 4 counties of Western Mass. You can walk from Hamden to Hampshire and Franklin County over the course of 2 days, but to try to get the Berkshires in there has been tricky. So we made a special extra day and a little mini march on that Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, I love that.
Wander Berkshires is a queer and trans-owned third space in downtown Pittsfield that we got to visit that merges hospitality, creativity, and community. Wander is a home to a recovery-focused cafe, an inclusive events venue, and the future site of the Berkshires' first community-accessible black and white photography darkroom.
And this Halloween, Wander in Pittsfield is hosting their first ever Wander Masquerade dance party, followed by a midnight screening of the 50th anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It's going to be a fully immersive after dark experience complete with DJ BFG, a night market, tarot readings, and a performance by Luna Fire Fawn.
And we are joined by Wander founder Jason Tangelo. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about this.
Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure to chat with y'all.
I have literally been looking for an excuse to talk about Rocky Horror this year since it is the 50th anniversary and other reasons besides. I have a long history with that movie. I don't think Monty does as much.
No, I do. I watched it when I was a freshman in high school for the first time, and it was life-changing. It was a way for me to become ingratiated with the larger high school band community, which I was a younger member, and I remember watching it with those folks way back then. And many people know Rocky Horror. I've now seen it dozens of times since then, including this year at the Northfield Drive-In, which was an experience for sure. But this is a really fun one because this is a midnight showing.
Yes.
Rocky Horror is an iconic movie, but what does it mean to you, Jay, and why is it something you wanted to celebrate at Wander?
You know, I thought it kind of just fit our space, and I'm going to be honest, I just saw it for the first time.
Whoa!
Wow.
All right, so what were your impressions of it, seeing it this late?
I was blown away. I was like, how, what? And I got to see it at the Colonial Emerson in Boston. So they had the full cast in front. The guy who plays Brad Majors, whoever plays him in the movie, he was there. Yeah, so it was quite an experience for my first time. Rocky Horror, not to age myself, has been around as long as I have. We are the same age. And I've gone my whole life and have not seen this movie. And so I decided that I wanted to show it here because I feel like, it's like, don't dream it, be it. I was listening to the music and I was like, this would be just fitting for the space and the people and just to have a place to come together, enjoy and sing and throw things. I was like, yes, let's do it. It was just like, I want to do this and see this. And, and so I was like, but a lot of people might not. And so we'll do a dance party first. And if you want to stay for the show. If you want to go. If you don't want to dance, come for the show. It's just kind of a little bit of something for everybody, I thought, and, in a safe indoor space.
I think you'll be surprised at how many people come out to see it because I don't think I've ever seen it in Western Mass without it having a packed house.
I'm interested, Khalees, you love Rocky Horror a ton. What does it mean to you and what has it meant to you? And has that changed over the years now that it's the 50th anniversary of the movie of Rocky Horror?
Well, I think it was one of the first depictions on screen of queer life that I got to see. It's campy as hell, but it was one of the first depictions that I really got to see. And it was glorious in no small part because of Tim Curry just being the biggest, most beautiful ham ever. And the music is compelling. And I was a musicals kid. So the score and the libretto is really fun. And then when I found out that there was stuff that you did alongside it, I was absolutely hooked.
Yeah, to get it interactive like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Santangelo, who runs a outwardly queer third space in Pittsfield, but who hasn't experienced this before. Looking at through the lens of 2025, what was your impression of it from kind of a queer media perspective?
I was like, what about this is wrong? Like when I watched it, I was like, I'm depicted, especially I'm an out trans person, and I don't want to get political, it was just like, that was like the final push of just like, this is nothing but just like bringing people together in a joyful way and just saying, you don't care, like come as you are, be who you are, do whatever liberates you, it's like submit to, ultimate pleasure, right? What is their motto? It's just like, just come and be. And so that was kind of for me, especially now where it's just like, I'm viewed as like, the other, the evil, and it's just like, no, like A, we're all one, and B, like just chill out and have some fun. Throw some toilet paper,
Maybe a piece of toast or two.
Yeah.
We're talking with Jay Santangelo about Wander's Halloween offerings, which include the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but also includes a dance party first, which is a great way to go into it if you're not going to just stay and do the time warp. Being adjacent to the drag community, I've always viewed Halloween as like queer Christmas. The fact that Wonder would be having like a big thing for Halloween, regardless of the 50th anniversary of Rocky Horror, seems like a fitting thing for me. Is Halloween actually a big thing that you wanted to celebrate, or is it just tying in this movie that you finally had a chance to watch?
For me, it was like, oh, it's a Friday. It is like, gay Christmas. And also like, and the reason we went like masquerade in a way versus like Halloween, like costume, because I feel like at this point, you've gone to a million Halloween parties already this season, right? Like this past weekend was the big one. Like I was in Boston, everybody was in costume, right? Everybody's partying, and then I was like, you know what? That was where like my brain went to, where it's just like, come as you are. You don't have to wear a costume. We'll have masks, bring a mask, and just kind of dance. And if you want to dress up, but there's nowhere in there that, and most people in like, if you want to come dressed as Rocky Horror, come for that, but it was just more like, just come be and dance and celebrate together. And I love the Scorpio season. I was supposed to be born on Halloween. My birthday is 2 days later. So it's just after Halloween on the Day of the Dead, which we're actually doing a Write Your Own Obituary free community event that day. So that'll be fun. I love just people coming together in community and, transitioning from the depot after dark all summer and dancing out in the streets. I thought it would be a good way to bring people inside and together. And we are blocking off the alley, so it will be closed. So people can wander out there and be outside. And then inside, we'll have the party. And then that'll help us transition back into, I think, what we first met about, it's when I was calling them Sober Sweaty, rebranded it to Come As You Are. And so that'll kind of transition us through the winter indoors. So that'll kind of be the kickoff for that, to show people.
We're speaking with Jay Santangelo, who is the founder of Wander Pittsfield, who will be having a special screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show with a dance party before it on Halloween. And then you're teaming up with our friends at Images Cinema a couple weeks afterwards to show the documentary, The Story of Rocky Horror, which I hear is fantastic, but I have not yet seen. That's a fun partnership. That'll be screened at Wander as opposed to at the cinema?
Correct. So that'll be our first screening. And that was when we were talking about trying to show a film here. And then we decided on the Rocky Horror for Halloween. That's when Dan was like, he's like, we should do Strange Journey right after, and show that. It's like, all right, well, if we're going to show the documentary, we definitely show the film, on Halloween. So they kind of like went together. So yeah, we're going to do that on November 11th at 7 p.m. Indoors here. So that'll be our first collaboration with them. And so I'm super excited about it. And then I think we'll do a lot more in the future.
And we mentioned that Images is having to wind down its showings at the cinema itself as they can remodel. So it's fun that they have these third spaces or other spaces that they can go to keep their programming going with great partnerships.
Yeah, and a bit further down, like it's nice that they're getting all the way down to Pittsfield to do collaborations too, because it kind of joins the Berkshires, which are a little spread out. And sometimes it's hard to get from North County to South County or even to Central County.
I also see that on November 14th, a Friday, you're doing a Wicked sing-along drag experience, which is a screening. And I did just go to one of those last Friday. And those are, if you'll pardon the expression, Wicked fun.
They are wicked fun. Yeah, that'll be with Poppy the Bubbly and Veronica Baked. Veronica just won Best of the Berkshires for Drag Queen. So yeah, she and Poppy are curating that evening. So yeah, they're calling it a sing-along drag experience. It should be really fun. They're amazing.
Not to keep going further off of your calendar rather than just like talking about how much I love Rocky Horror, because we'll be here all afternoon. But you have a Scrabble social with a nationally ranked Scrabble player?
Ooh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, Seth. Yeah, he came up and yeah, he did it this weekend. It's our second one. Yeah, we have a couple more already scheduled with him. And yeah, people come. He brings boards. They bring boards. They just play casually.
I love that. I hope people are bringing like boards in other languages. One of my favorite times was getting to see somebody play in Spanish, which was really exciting.
Oh, that's fun.
And I didn't know that we had any ranked players in the area. That's amazing.
What a quirky place we live in.
It's true. Yeah.
How is your darkroom coming along?
Funny question. We're just talking about that. So what we've determined is that the space where the darkroom was going to be is too small. Wander has taken over the other spaces that I had kind of wanted it to be. And so we are looking at a building across the street and also potentially upstairs. So I'll actually have more information, hopefully by the end of the week, on a settled spot, and then we'll be ready to go. And then from there, it'll be fast.
Maybe you can bathe Jay Santangelo's ear during the dance party prior to Rocky Horror on Friday night with get some more details on the darkroom there at Wander in Pittsfield.
We should sign and be good to go somewhere soon.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you had never seen this movie until now.
I know. And I worked around it where in my 20s, I worked in Arizona, and there was an old movie theater classic, and they showed it every Friday night at midnight. And all the people would come, and I would see them outside, and they would come, and I worked at the bar down the street, and I would do that. And at that time, I was just like not interested. I was like anti-musical theater. I was like, none of that like appealed to me. And so that was like the closest I came to it, and then never kind of forgot about it until actually, this Halloween season when we were talking about it. And I was like, oh my God, 50th anniversary. How have I not seen this? I was like, all right, let's go. Yeah.
And now you've got Wicked in there too. Look at you now, Jay Santangelo.
Which I still haven't seen. So.
Oh, well.
Ooh.
I have dresses for both of the main witches of Wicked, and I already did them both in one night at UMass last week. Who knows? Maybe I will revise it again in Pittsfield, or come dressed up for the 50th anniversary screening of Rocky Horror Picture Show as part of your Halloween celebration in Pittsfield. Complete with DJ BFG, a night market, tarot readings, and a performance by Luna Fire Fawn. Who's Luna Fire Fawn?
Luna Fire Fawn has done, she is a local fire performer. So she performs fire. She dances with snakes. She does many other things. So she will be indoors. We've had her perform twice outside. Because we're doing it indoors, it is going to be snake dancing, performing, and fire eating.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is pretty amazing.
Awesome. And then she's also going to dance with some fans and some other fun things. So she is multi-talented and is just a really great human, and happy to have her be able to perform at the show.
It sounds like a really fun way to celebrate Halloween.
And entirely fitting, because I'm pretty sure that in the party scene before they start the time warp, at least one of the Transylvanians is wearing a snake.
The snake will be here. Yep, the snake will get passed around. You can dance with the snake if you're into it. Yeah, it's very also an interactive.
Pretty amazing.
Psyched for it.
Well, it sounds fun. It's this Friday. To kick it off, you can find out about all of Wander's events by going to wanderberkshires.com. They've got a great calendar of things coming up, and we have been joined once again by our friend Jay Santangelo. And come check out Rocky Horror Picture Show on Halloween night in Pittsfield at Wander.
Would you suggest that anybody else come out and see it for their very first time?
Oh my God, yeah. If you ever been curious or didn't even know you were, if it's piqued your interest, this definitely it's going to be a fun, safe place to come in and see it for the first time for sure.
Yeah, it's great to see it with an audience. It's really fun.
Yeah, and not in a movie theater. I think is going to be fun.
Yeah.
You know, because I saw it in the movie theater, so you're like trapped by the chairs. Whereas like here, you're just going to be free. So it should be fun.
Thanks so much, Jay.
Thank you so much. Thanks as always for having me. I appreciate you.
Oh, our pleasure.
It's astounding.
And before anyone sends us emails, Barry Bostwick is the actor who plays Brad in the movie version of Rocky Horror I Am a Terrible Fan and Totally Forgot. Wander's dance party tonight starts at 9, so you have plenty of time to figure out a costume if you haven't already.
We'll descend into the politics of the animal kingdom with the creative organizers and producers behind A Happening 5 at the Shea Theater.
After we take a quick visit to Chile through our Franklin County wine friend Ken Washburn for Thunderdome in Lefferts.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass Amherst School of Public Policy. offering in-person and online graduate programs in public policy and data analytics. Admissions now open at umass.edu/SPP.
The Wine Thunderdome has returned to the Leverett Village Co-op with our Franklin County wine friend and Level 2 sommelier, Ken Washburn, who is also the general manager of the Leverett Village Co-op.
Hi, welcome.
Are we drinking Halloween wine?
Don't say those words together.
I'm not a Halloween person. And you know what? Every year I'm like, this is the year that I'm gonna get into Halloween. I can't.
Why?
I don't know, I need like a shepherd or a guide.
Do you
For
like it?
different reasons.
Why don't you like Halloween?
Because I used to be like super witchy, and I feel it's high holidays. You don't get dressed up for high holidays in that way.
Well, I'm dressed as a witch on Halloween, so sorry to culturally appropriate your religion.
Look, you believe whatever you want to believe.
My witch is Broadway themed, so I'm
I was gonna
appropriating
say,
Broadway.
Are you reusing the Elphaba costume?
How can you not? I had to speak in a school, Whately Elementary, this morning about the food bank march, and it's Halloween, so I was like, I might as well do the whole thing. Ken Washburn, also big birder. The Canada geese on your water bottle, keep honking.
Yep.
But what are we drinking here at the Leverett Village Co-op?
We are drinking some wines that are brand new to us. Just gonna refresh the section a little bit before the holidays. So we have 2 natural wines, which that's exciting to me. If you have been listening along to my segments on the Thunderdome, you may know that I had migraines for a long time in my wine career, and while I was out of the game, natural and orange wines became popular, and I came back and I was like, what the hell are these?
Because if you haven't been listening, you had this career that was like Level 2 sommelier, not an easy accreditation to earn, and then derailed because you couldn't drink wine anymore because of migraines.
Right, exactly. So I came back in and was like, whoa, what are these weird things that everyone's talking about? There are wine bars that are dedicated to them exclusively, and I felt like I had missed out. So we're finally getting some in at the co-op, and these are both from Chile. I do feel that South America is underrepresented in our selection, so we're making all kinds of gains here, as the kids say.
You should invest billions of dollars in Argentina and their wines, perhaps.
I don't think I will do that. We're basically doing a little pair here. They're both from a winery called Viña Echeverria in Chile, and the brand name, or I guess the name of both the wines, is No Es Pituco. It ain't fancy. Chilean slang phrase.
Natural wine is not an official classification, so it's a little amorphous as to exactly what it means. What does natural wine mean to you, Ken?
To me, it means minimal intervention, often wines that are not filtered or fined in the way that most wines that you see on the shelf are. Definitely no additives, none of that. What's it called? Big Purple? Is that what it's
Mega
called?
Purple.
Mega Purple, excuse me.
Which sounds cool.
Mega Purple?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially California is
feel
like
like we've talked about it
guilty of the
before.
Mega Purple. It's added for color. I mean, a lot of people don't know this too. A lot of your whiskeys, especially your popular brands, those have caramel coloring added to them. And so Mega Purple is like the caramel coloring of purple, but for wine.
So, the first one, we're going to do the No Es Pituco Orange. It's 100% Sauvignon Blanc, which I love. Huge Sauvignon Blanc fan. It's way better than Chardonnay on almost all occasions. And that's an objective fact.
Wrong.
But it does end up having different characteristics in Southern Hemisphere than it does in Northern Hemisphere.
Sure, and the orange wine aspect of it means that this Sauvignon Blanc juice has been sitting with the skins of the Sauvignon Blanc grape longer than it would have if it was just a traditional white wine, so this has the potential to be very interesting.
The color's nice, and it's kind of cloudy. It doesn't have that like sparkling brilliance that some white wines do.
Yeah, and that's because of the natural wine and the lack of fining, which it could be egg whites that they use to clarify the wine.
Fish
it could be
bladders.
fish bladders, so that's why we mentioned before when we were at Tip Top, not all wine is vegan. So if you are a vegan and want to be hardcore about it, check to make sure your wine is vegan.
So these are vegan, both of these wines.
Yeah.
This color is like the color of apple juice.
Which perfect because Franklin County Cider Days is happening right now.
Yeah.
Looks like apple juice, does not necessarily taste like apple juice. Though it is more like an extremely dry cider than other white wines.
It's more appley than most Sauvignon Blanc that I've ever had.
Now, I will say that as a food history major, not currently, but graduated, I like things that taste like they could have been made 200 to 300 years ago.
Me too.
And this is not a modern wine, and I really, really like that. So one of my favorite things is when wines that have, or grapes that normally have like honey type notes, like types of muscat and stuff like that, when they're bone dry. That's some of my favorites. I've had some Spanish wines that are like that.
Yeah.
Because on the nose, you're like, all right, this is going to be like a dessert wine, and then it never comes. It's honestly thrilling to me, and I'm getting that energy from this wine. I really like this.
I wouldn't be able to blind taste this as Sauvignon Blanc.
Never.
It
Yeah.
does not have anything that I typically associate with Sauvignon
Yeah, same.
Blanc.
Like no grass, no like grapefruity things.
I just got a cookbook that's like the food of Normandy, and all of these recipes are paired with cider, or they have cider in the ingredients, and I feel like actually this wine could be a stand-in for cider in recipes.
I think so.
Especially because in that case, they're talking about Norman cider, which is very different from what you can get here for the most part.
But I bet you if you go to the right place, especially to Dummerston, Vermont during cider days, you might be able to even taste a Norman cider.
Here's hoping, because I have tickets to that.
Cider Days happening this weekend. Ciderdays.org. You can check it out. Happening all over Franklin County and in Franklin County Friends. And we're drinking with our Franklin County wine friend, Ken Washburn at the Leverett Village Co-op, but not drinking cider, drinking wine.
Wow, I love that. Tough act to follow.
But what is wine number 2 in the Wine Thunderdome?
Wine number 2 is
Also from No Es Pituco, not fancy.
not fancy. This is a rosé. So this is actually a grape that I'd never heard of, unlike Sauvignon Blanc, which I had heard of. This is called Pais.
Country?
Yep, but it's a grape. And I've said before, I'm not a huge rosé person. Like, I don't like Provence rosés. I'd rather have a white wine. And I've said this before on the show, and I think your reaction was the exact same.
Yeah.
But this I found utterly charming.
Ooh, this got a good funk to it.
Yeah.
I like this a lot.
It's Funkin' Flowers, though.
And
It's a
rosé-
good drag name.
Funkin' flowers.
I like that. This one's a little
actually
peachier.
more orange than the orange wine. And the orange wine was more yellow.
Like ballet shoe pink.
I love when Khalees
Rose-
describes it like
I
that because
hate
it's
rose
perfect.
gold, but this looks like rose gold.
Okay.
I was at a jewelry show recently, like a gem and jewelry show. We just decided it would be a fun thing to do. And rose gold jewelry might be the ugliest thing. Like, it shouldn't be there. Just my opinion. That's fact.
Were there any Jurassic Armored Mud Balls there? Because you're one of the, like us, Jurassic Armored Mud Ball stands.
I hope that everyone listening has signed the Jurassic Armored Mudball petition.
That's the jewel segment of our Wine Thunderdome here at the
They're not jewels.
They're jewels
rocks.
to me.
They're rocks and mud.
What the hell is the difference between that and jewels?
Where does rose gold even come from?
The garbage.
From QVC?
Only wrong answers.
This is interesting to me. It doesn't stand out as much on the palate as the orange wine. I get the floral before I get the fruit. Like, I'm imagining like a table covered in pink petals that are like kind of starting to wilt, like magnolia petals when they've been on the ground for too long. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting from this wine.
I like that.
It's got a lot less structure than the other one, too. Like, the other one had this really fun balance of both tannins and acid, and this one just comes in all fruit and flowers. You know what? I'm not going to describe it that way because no one here will know what I'm talking about.
Why didn't you try?
Okay, welcome to Khalees's Otaku Corner.
I'm not gonna know.
There is a character who does magic, and her favorite spell is this one spell that makes a field of flowers. And the way that it gets animated is the way that I feel about this flavor spreading on my tongue.
Thus concludes our anime portion of the Wine Thunderdome.
I play D&D weekly, so that touched my heart a little bit. Take a maraschino cherry and then remove like 80% of the flavor, and that's kind of the fruit that I'm getting on this.
Are you talking about a real maraschino cherry
No, a
or
fake
the
one.
This is very fruity but not very acidic.
I'm
I am a sucker for acid in
I was
wine.
gonna say I'm like a structure hound with wine.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of this in wine school, and I obviously bristled against it. But like the masculine and the feminine wine.
I hate that.
No, we don't gender things that don't have gender.
I was
This wine doesn't
I was
have
pretty
gender.
flabbergasted that was so common in the industry.
Yeah. I'm wearing a dress right now.
I love both. That's why I brought them in. Wow, the acid here.
Woo, this got a diesel-y note on the nose going back.
Don't say that. That's one of my least favorites.
It's one of my
Like,
favorites.
keep me away from the Alsatian Riesling. I'll get a headache.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it.
Might be my favorite wine.
No way.
Yep.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. A good Alsatian or Mosel Riesling, super diesely, sweet, but with hardcore bracing acidity, might be the greatest wine there is.
My partner is in agreement with you. The best wine I ever had was a 2005 Ramishko from Colares outside of Portugal. It was like so unbelievably tannic. I still think about it.
It's the emotion. The fact that you probably can bring that taste to your brain right now,
God, it was
that is the
so,
mark of a
like-
real wine.
It was like incensey and violety and dark and yeah. And I'm never gonna have it again. And that makes it all the better in a way. Like a long lost love that you've got a photograph of in your wallet or something like that, which I do not, by the way.
I was gonna say, let's look at your wallet.
I've got one of my partner's really terrible passport photos.
I brought 27 bottles of port back from my trip to Portugal, and the only one that broke was my favorite.
Are you already ready to vote?
Yeah, I am.
Ken Washburn, Level 2 Sommelier, General Manager of the Leverett Village Co-op and the wine buyer here in the Wine Thunderdome. 2 wines from Chile under the label No es Pituco. One is an orange wine of Sauvignon Blanc and one is a rosé of País. What is your vote?
This is gonna be crazy, but I vote for the rosé. I love both so much, but that marzipan note is on the palate is so special to me. I can't get over it.
Khalees, are you ready to vote?
Also the rosé.
Oh my god. This feels like an upset in a way.
The orange is wicked cool, and I love how it stands up, but this is just flowers. And at this darker time of year, where we're not seeing a whole lot of that, it's a really welcome thing on the palate.
My vote no longer matters, but I vote for the Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
The orange wine of Sauvignon Blanc. I love that it's Sauvignon Blanc, but doesn't taste like a typical Sauvignon Blanc. I almost wanted to vote for the País just because I don't think I've ever had one before, and I love to root for the underdog.
Sure.
But if I were to vote about which one I would buy to take home, it would be the natural wine, Sauvignon Blanc, orange wine.
Both of those are really, really fantastic.
I love them. I'm so excited about having them.
Ken Washburn, your other role is birder. Any interesting bird news?
Well, the migration's slowing down, but this Monday I had the opportunity to go to the Massachusetts State House, a place I had never been. I didn't know that when people were talking about up on Beacon Hill, that it was really actually up on Beacon Hill.
It's a literal hill.
To show support for a potential bill or pair of bills that's coming up to ban second-generation anticoagulant rodenticides. I said that slowly. So there's a big movement out in eastern Massachusetts. A lot of towns and cities are coming up with provisions to ban municipal or total ban of second-generation anticoagulant rodenticides, basically rat poison that stays in the food chain for a long, long time and kills owls, foxes, red-tailed hawks, and cats. It kills your pets. And mice and rats, but there are other ways to do that.
Yes.
Mass Audubon was putting it on. I went to represent the Hampshire Bird Club, and wow, it was really cool to see that kind of stuff in action. There were over 100 people that wanted to testify.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to leave before I saw if all 100 people got to go, and the reason why I had to leave is because a very rare Townsend's warbler had been reported in Brookline, and I went to see it.
Did everybody there all of a sudden at the same time be like, I gotta go?
Oh, actually, I think that the news of the warbler hadn't really gotten out yet. There's a couple different channels. There's a Discord, a GroupMe, and Facebook is kind of how people get the word out about rare birds. But this bird belongs in the Pacific Northwest, so it was pretty awesome to see it.
Did you see it?
I did. When I got there, I realized that I had forgotten my binoculars 100 miles away in Turner's Falls, and I met a 13-year-old kid who it turns out I'd met before. Chasing another rare bird, shout out to Sebastian, and he helped me find the bird, and it was awesome. So that's my bird news. If you're interested in birding in Western Mass, you should consider joining the Hampshire Bird Club. And I'm hoping to eventually get some momentum to ban anticoagulant rodenticides out here in Franklin County.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And if you want to taste some of the delicious wines that Ken brings to the Leverett Village Co-op, come to the Leverett Village Co-op, the only store in Leverett, Massachusetts.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks so much for coming.
Up next, bringing out our animal instincts and creating a creative community through a performance and transformation of the Shea Theater as we explore the many facets and stages of A Happening 5 in Turner's Falls.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Real Pickles, a worker-owned cooperative in Greenfield producing organic fermented vegetables sourced from Northeast farms. More information at realpickles.com. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar in Hatfield, offering personalized solar energy solutions and ongoing customer care, proudly serving communities throughout the Pioneer Valley. northeast-solar.com.
We are currently in the lobby of the Shea Theater, Avenue A, Turner's Falls, community theater owned by the town of Montague. Full disclosure, president of the board. I'm a full-time volunteer. And anything that is Shea related that we're going to cover on the show, I defer to Khalees and our director, Tony. And you said we're going to go cover this.
We always cover this because it's always different, it's always interesting.
This is a happening, and it is a happening
5!
Tonight, Halloween, and tomorrow, November 1st, Saturday, and we are getting a guided tour of A Happening 5, The Bestiary.
That's right.
With Sam Perry, who you have heard on the show, not only for things having to do with The Happening, but you may know many times has been on in your musical incarnation with Cloudbelly. This is a Cloudbelly adjacent installation.
I think of it as sort of an unofficial Cloudbellian festival among many other collaborators.
Tell us what A Happening is.
A Happening is a jam of all the artists in the Valley. So we have dancers, puppeteers, actors, metal workers, and then you get to explore the Shea Theater, which has been created into another world, and you get to see all these artists' contributions.
Performance artist Kat Adler, tell us your estimation about what A Happening is.
A Happening is the time of year when some magical portal opens up in the Shea. We don't know why. We just know that it does happen. We just prepare ourselves for whatever world pops out of that portal. And this year it happens to be the bestiary. And to build the world, the environment that this fantasy exists within, we do curate artists from across the Valley. We have folks coming from as far as Hartford and up to Vermont. And as Sam mentioned, it is fabricators of all kind, performance artists of all kind, creatives of the highest, silliest caliber.
I saw a giant papier-mâché puppet hand opening up the driver's side door of a Honda Fit out in front of the Shea.
And then it became a wizard in the lobby.
There is now a giant papier-mâché wizard puppet with moving hands and eyes in the lobby of the Shea.
I find it way less unsettling than you do.
The eyes moving was a little bit creepy. Mo Schweiger, you've been on not only with your roles as Mass Mocha, but also helping us find interesting other theater makers and performers to bring onto the show. Tell us your role with A Happening 5, The Bestiary.
My role this year is the big title is co-producer, and so I have been working behind the scenes with Kat for the last 6 or 7 months, helping to coordinate logistics, bring in artists of all kinds. I specifically produced and booked the downstairs theater, which is called the Bear's Den. My role is the bear who escaped the circus but still longs for the stage, so I opened a punk cabaret. And all night long there is going to be kind of more folk art offerings, from shadow puppetry to crankies to music to dance. I'm doing a dance with Kat to the song Monkey and Bear by Joanna Newsom, which will be performed by Matthew Thornton, who is playing an entire orchestral part on just the cello, and sang by Chelsea Field. And then I am reading a story that I wrote that will be accompanied by a shadow puppet show created by my partner Kayla and her roommate Alex.
The Bestiary is the name of A Happening 5. Can you loosely tell us why it's called the Bestiary and what we're to discover? Last year when we were here, we were in the belly of a whale.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense, this evolution. We were on a ship, and then we were in the belly of the whale, and now we're in a bestiary.
The society that was beginning to be built in the belly has evolved. There's many different creatures that inhabit this land, but there's an uprising brewing.
So we have two contingencies in this world. We have the upper world, which is FRM, Free Range Manor, and they are descendants of the storyline where we leave off at Animal Farm. So we're setting all of these characters 5 generations in the future. And downstairs is a contingency of the feral forest. So the uprising starts its bubbling down there and slowly makes its way upstairs. The bestiary itself is just a book filled with creatures, both mystical and fantastical, that has been enchanted into reality. That's the world we get to play within this year.
I will say also, in full disclosure, because of Animal Farm being one of the inspirations behind this, my kids' homeschool co-op read Animal Farm to learn about it, and Kat Adler came and spoke to them about the themes of Animal Farm. So.
Yeah, myself and one of our dancers, Nat Graves, we came in and just talked about how we took that source material and just imagined what is the future? Where does this go? How far does it go? And how far does it take for the animals to finally see, something's not quite right, we need to do something.
It remains extremely relevant in every sense of the word, and so it's a really awesome jumping off point and saying, okay, George Orwell wrote this incredible, poignant story. What would that look like 5 generations down the line? And how can we make that a theater piece? And how can we make it participatory and bring in all of these singers and dancers and theater artists and puppeteers and kind of craft an off-the-page version of what that incredibly poignant message might look like now?
Animal Farm kind of is baby's first dystopia.
It is called a fairy tale.
We are at the Shea Theater, where tonight and tomorrow, a Happening 5 will be happening, The Bestiary. Let's go and explore a little bit. And look who else is here, Corey Laitman from Cloud Belly. Who are you going to be portraying in this, Corey Laitman?
A bird.
A Baird?
A bird.
Oh.
I see this cat painting every time we're here for the happening. I feel like it's its own character.
Is that William Shakespeare?
Sure is.
Sam Perry's cat?
This room in here is our library. It's the one room that every year, no matter what the theme is, we have maintained. In some ways, it is sort of the jumping off point, especially from this year's story, because the bestiary book has its origins in this space.
And this is usually Shea director Linda Tardif's office, but now it looks like a 19th century library.
We've got our little guard over here. Don't know if you noticed that one, Sam.
Oh yeah, there's a knight in shining armor with an eagle's head.
That's where the eagle's head went.
In here is going to be our old Benjamin, the donkey who has been around since the reign of Napoleon I. And
From Animal Farm.
yeah. He is going to be a bit of a curmudgeon, has seen it all, and has been pretty passive along the way.
And this is usually the storage closet where all of our cleaning products are. You have to kind of bend down like a hobbit hole to get in there, but then you come in here and you can see all these pictures of horses, etc. on the wall.
Good thing when you walk in, you will be transformed into a pig.
Ah.
So it'll be the perfect height for walking into these low doors.
So everyone who comes to a happening becomes a pig?
Unless you don't want to, in which you will say, not a pig, and you will not receive interaction with actors. We wanted to open that option for people because it can be kind of a lot to walk into a theatrical production and someone comes up to you and says, the rebellion!
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do not like immersive theater. They feel like it's people acting at their face. I'm not one of those people. I love it, but yeah.
Yeah, this year we are making the option to be an observer or a participant because we've heard that feedback and people who do want to come and observe, but also don't have that sense of wanting to be looked at in the eyes directly.
Khalees has discovered something as the curtain opened for our behalf when we came in here.
Yes, we revealed the hog.
It's a hog on a spit.
How big is this hog, Monty? Would you tell the listeners?
About 6-7 feet.
Yeah.
People size.
Yeah, people-sized hog roasting on a spit. There is going to be a fire inspection here very shortly. Let them know, not an actual fire. But it is next to a drum kit and a guitar, because music is a big part of what will be happening in here as well.
Because hot fire.
Hot fire.
Yeah, as far as the ending goes, I think the order goes Billie Eilish mixed with White Stripes into Lady Gaga, and we have a slow descent into some Rage Against the Machine. So, quite the variety. As we make our way through the transformation stations, so costumes galore for those who want to express their bestial side.
So you don't have to come in costume even if it's on Halloween. You can, if you want to, receive a costume when you get here.
Absolutely.
Now we're heading downstairs.
So just on the fringes of FRM, Free Range Manor. Between that space and the illustrious feral forest, we have the Birchwoods, sort of our Woodstock of the world. Blue Jay, here, played by Sam Perry, will be hosting an array of musicians, including Corey, as well as Michi Wianko from Antenna Cloud Farm. So it truly is a bit of a cloud fest this year.
Nice. The Blue Jays could win the World Series on the night that you're playing the Blue Jay down here.
Yes, that was my intention, and I 100% knew that.
The stairs to get down here are decked out in birds.
Yeah, and then you get down here and there's all this fabric hanging from the ceiling in what we usually call the lower lobby in front of the public restrooms. But then it feels like a little musical nest where there's a mini stage and microphones and all sorts of guitars, and the mini stage covered in the chevron pattern that Sam Perry and so many of us love so much, alluding to Twin Peaks.
But of course.
I told all your colleagues, those clown comics, to fix their hearts or die.
But you talked about how many artists from all over the place, all four of you artists that we're with right now, Mo and Kat and Corey and Sam. But do we have any idea how many people are performing in this? Because I know people that have maybe never performed in anything like this that will be here performing this weekend. Or people that used to be performers that haven't done it in a long time, that got brought out of retirement to come out there and show off their skills again.
I counted on the program. I think the grand total is around 65.
Wow.
But, could be more. But it's really exciting to get all of these folks together and just see what kind of magic can happen when this number of creative people come together to make something.
Two of the performances I'm particularly excited about is going to be Katsy Catlin, who hasn't played in a very long time, but is showing up as a Frog Dylan, and will be kicking off the show in the Oviel and the Birchwoods. And then also we're going to have Chris Goudreau of the Leafies You Gave Me, in partnership with Lori Holmes Clark of Clarkdale Fruit Farms, singing Memory from Cats.
As a cat.
Lori Holmes Clark, who was a touring Broadway performer, leaving what is the lower lobby in front of the bathrooms and going down the hallway, which leads to the green room usually.
Right now, we're walking through the feral forest, which is the domain of the feral creatures who, historically, have not been invited to the town hall at Free Range Manor, but this year, for the first time, they are being invited contingent on their ability to appear civilized.
So we're going into a room that's usually a storage room here in the Shea, but has now been nearly completely transformed.
So this is the dog pen, so a bit of a gambling, seedy arena, and home to the big bad wolf and all of his wolf pack.
Mm-hmm. Is it because of that one painting of dogs playing poker?
100%.
I have it on a shirt, and me and Kat were like, well, what if it just felt exactly like that shirt?
And it kind of does.
Yeah.
More coming up with Kat Adler, Mo Schweiger, Sam Perry, and Corey Laitman as we tour more of the many rooms and delights of the multifaceted interactive performance that is happening at a Happening 5, Bestiary at the Shea Theater.
Including how this story is very much connected to the right now of humans. You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
One thing I love about a Happening is that when I was a kid, I loved haunted houses. And I used to go to a haunted house every year, and it was always like, somebody's dressed up as Jason, somebody's dressed up as Mike Myers, somebody's dressed up as Freddy Krueger. This has elements of haunted house, but has like its own original artistic spin with so many people really volunteering their times and high caliber artists who've been on our show many times in different capacities coming and participating in this. Is this, though, if you have a little kid that is not my psychologically damaged child, what age is this appropriate for?
We are rating this year's show at PG-13. No one's going to sneak out and scare you. There's nothing super scary happening. However, it is darkly lit. There are maybe some more mature themes of violence that are talked about, but not necessarily seen.
You've seen The Hog.
And so we just thought for this particular year, we wanted a little bit more of a mature audience.
Also, it's hard to have talks about like the structures of democracy and class politics with 8-year-olds sometimes.
Yeah.
Just give them the book first and have a conversation later.
Yeah.
But, that being said, nothing's really scary per se. Nothing's jumping out at you. If I was a kid, I would 100.
Cat is pointing to a bloody sheet hanging from the ceiling.
But if I was a kid, I would totally want to come to this.
Totally, me too.
Sometimes someone's like, what are you working on? And I kind of gauge that if I say Immersive Arts Festival, their eyes are going to glaze over. I describe a Happening as like a haunted house, but with art.
Talk about, in this political climate that we live in right now, what you're hoping people will experience when they come to the Bestiary, a Happening 5 at the Shea on Halloween night and the next night. Kat Adler.
I think one of the things that really struck me in rereading Animal Farm was, first of all, how quick it went. It's a very short book, and every line has something that moves the plot along, and we see how quickly things become normalized, how easily we are manipulated. And one of the things we want to express in this piece is the duality of truth and lies. So as we move forward in our world, the things that came up were, the abusive boxer as the horse, someone who is working hard and doing what is ought to be done and still is mistreated. We have Miss Molly, who is really only caring about herself and, can she be fed sugar cubes, after the rebellion? Will ribbons in her hair be okay? As people move through the evening, we want them to just face what are the things that you as an individual are contributing to in our compromise and conformity to the social norms that may lead us to a path of destruction. So yes, there is confronting our leaders and what they ought to be doing for us, and there's also some self-confrontation as well.
Because there's always a question of like, what aren't you seeing?
Ultimately, we want people to walk away with a greater sense of empathy and altruism. And we're grateful for the support of many groups in the area, including Mass Cultural Council and Community Foundation of Western Mass. But this year, it is our second time receiving funding from the Markham Nathan Fund for Social Justice. And so we do want to lace in those pathways for people to follow during the show.
We're right outside the green room now in a little room that takes you in the spiral staircase up to the stage, but it has been totally transformed into an industrial warehouse where there are all sorts of tools and simple machines and pickaxes and hoes and shovel heads.
What are you calling a hoe? So this is the Lodge of Legends, and this is where definitely brewings of rebellion are bubbling. We have old farm tools that have been co-opted to display in an artistic manner. So again, taking the tools of oppression and transforming them into something beautiful and interesting. And this is where the wolf pack and the rooster, who is my character, begin to plot the demise of Napoleon V, the grand pig in charge. And this room is the creation of our good friend and sculptor, Josh Reuter, who is also one of the original Cloud Gaze directors. So he is one of the folks that is currently on that fire walk with me safety discussion. You like that one?
I love that one.
She's my mother's sister's girl.
And right now, we're heading into the Bug Club, which is our rave room this year. And so the evening is going to start with some more chill electronic music by our good friend and collaborator, Zadie Belfair-Chevet, who performs under the name ZBS-FM. And then as things get a little dicier, we're going to switch into some groovin' techno beats. And this will be, if you want to take a minute and come dance your heart out among some beautiful, beautiful larva installations made by our friends Matthew and Sarah.
Made by Sarah.
Made by our friend Sarah.
Matthew is currently hanging them.
Yes. This is the spot to dance it out.
Also, there's a butterfly behind you.
These large bug puppets and figurines were made by Bella Lavavi and others in the community during the bug
Parade
hosted at Brick House earlier in the year.
We are ending up in the town square, which is the Shea Lobby. And the town square currently is home to an installation made by my other roommate, Esther Solomon, and holds the classic stick house, brick house, and straw house of the Three Little Pigs fame. And there will be, his official name is Barry B. Goodwolf, and affectionately known to friends as the Big Bad Wolf of Wall Street, who will be trying to convince you to invest your money in straw. I think that's the sturdiest type of house.
I do believe his business card says, ditch the bricks, stick with straw.
If you need him, just call Ow.
Corey, you've been listening to us create this. You've been a part of it for the past few years. I'm wondering if you wanted to shed a little bit of light on what you see this year, how it's developed.
Corey Laitman?
Sure. For the people who wince when they hear phrases like immersive theater, I describe it as Halloween for adults. Every year, Sam, and this year, in collaboration with Emma Savine, make a gorgeous inspired cocktail menu that kind of couches every cocktail in thematically relevant ways. I just recently rewatched the 4 Hunger Games movies, and I am so struck by the parallels between Animal Farm, which I'm less familiar with. I was never made to read it. But one of the most poignant refrains in the Hunger Game, there are many refrains, but the one that I love the most is remember who the real enemy is. The way that this event is in dialogue with the more macro political climate right now, it's so important, especially in periods of really intense stress. I feel like we're tempted, the temptation is to blame locally and turn on one another and kind of direct stress to the places where we can tangibly push against, and in that way we run the risk of alienating the people around us who are actually like the vehicle of resistance. Like getting together is what helps us transcend like the kind of learned helplessness that we can fall prey to when the larger context is so inhospitable. And so, on an even more meta level, the happening for me is a space where I'm reminded that the world can change. With just like a little bit of effort and getting together, spaces can be transformed and feel so radically different. And it's so powerful to be in that sort of space of possibility and novelty with other people and to like just get excited. I feel like it's an excitatory event, and it's also bonding. It's like the opposite of trauma bonding.
It's joy bonding.
It's art bonding. It's joy bonding. And right now that is so important, and this space facilitates that so skillfully and with so much joy.
One of our tenets as a creative group is that art can build community and can build resilient community. So we really see the audience as a part of the artists that bring this whole world to life, and engaging with the art as artists, as participants.
A Happening 5 Bestiary occurs tonight and tomorrow at the Shea Theater starting at 7 p.m. each night. Grab tickets through the Shea Theater's website.
And thanks again to our hosts there, Kat Adler and Mo Schweiger, and Sam Perry and Corey Laitman.
And Matthew Thornton, who we saw carrying large papier-mâché pizzas of things everywhere.
60 artists involved in that event tonight and tomorrow.
It's a large endeavor, and it's so cool, which again is why we go and visit it every year as it changes. Next week on the Fabulous 413, we've got one more contested city mayoral race to cover.
So, we'll speak with both candidates aiming for the seat in West Springfield, William Reichelt and Dan O'Brien back-to-back on the show on Monday.
And we'll also hear about the legacy of hat-making in Amherst ancestral bridges.
You'll be able to meet a Palestinian comedian behind the one-man show called The Horse of Janine before you can see it at the Fine Arts Center at UMass Amherst next Thursday.
Ah, so cool. Plus, we're celebrating the brand new album from the Winter Pills and touring what may become a new meat processing facility for Western Mass at Stillman Meats. Wicked cool stuff.
You're listening to Khalees's favorite Rocky Horror Picture Show song, right?
Second favorite.
Oh, what's your favorite?
It's Sweet Transvestite.
Okay, yeah. There's the whole thing is great. And you can see it at midnight at Wander in Pittsfield tonight.
And you don't even have to bring your own toast.
I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalees Smith. Don't dream it, be it.
We'll see you next week on the Fabulous 413.